Hey everybody, Jen Hatmaker here, your host of the For the Love podcast. I'm delighted to have you. Welcome to the show, you guys. Right now, we are in a series that I am loving called For the Love of Dating, Sex, and Relationships, right? I wonder why Jen wanted to talk about this. Look, I can use my own podcast to work out my own life stuff if I want to, okay? Now, having said that, I'm not the only person embedded in dating, sex, and relationship space. That's basically almost all of us. Whether your relationship has been with the same partner or spouse forever, if you're dating, if you're single, all of it, the whole thing. Now, today we're going to dial a little bit into dating. Oh, the dating world. Oh, what a deal. What a deal, right? Of course, for me, like the thought of jumping into dating after 26 years of marriage was like, oh, no, I won't, I can't, I don't even know. I don't even want to, like, somebody help me, somebody save me. But of course, who knows when and where love will find you. I am a living testimony to that, but more about that in a later episode. Okay. More about that. Now, honestly, when love doesn't find you, there's a ton of avenues to pursue it yourself, but it is not for the faint of heart. Between the apps and the swiping and the dating services and well-meaning friends and family and colleagues, it really can be overwhelming. It absolutely can overwhelm a person's life. And so, and what do you look for really in all of those presentations of potential dateable people? Like, do we even, what are the red flags? What do we need? What do we want? It can all be just very daunting. So for those of you who are about ready to stop swiping or scrutinizing people's profiles, wondering if their picture's real, half the time it isn't, wondering if they're like, occasional smoking quote habit is like 4 packs a day, actually. If they're being honest about anything, their age, their life, their job, right? Maybe there's an alternative for you. I was lucky enough, I guess, to have a friend, my colleague, Heather, as an unwitting matchmaker. She didn't even mean to. Again, I'll talk more about that later in the series, so hang with us. But lo and behold, it worked, and it's been quite a match. But there are professional matchmakers who are doing the good work of bringing people together and then taking away the pain and confusion and chaos of having to parse through it all ourselves. So matchmaking actually has a long and storied history. And in some cultures, even today, it's like a required rite of passage to bring couples together. So I think we've traditionally viewed matchmaking's purpose as helping folks find love, right? To connect people to each other who have common values, like common lifestyles, ultimately help establish long-lasting relationships. But it's evolved actually in a bunch of ways. Like, for example, you can be matched up with roommates. For college or for young adulthood, you can be matched up to players of your same skill set in a local sports league. Like, it's even used for matching organ donors to someone who needs them, right? But for our purposes today, we're talking about the kind of matchmaking where skilled professionals look at the backgrounds, desires, goals, education, ages, preferences, like all the other factors that play into how we connect to people for the potential of romantic love. And you guys, today we are talking to absolute leaders in that space. And even inside that space, they have a niche place. They are blazing a trail for people of color to find love. Okay. But listen, if you're not a person of color and you're listening, hang in, because there is so much to learn from this episode. There's so much to hear, so much great food for that. And plus, this is so entertaining, and they are the cutest and the best. As always, let me just drop this in real quick. If ever you want to watch any of these episodes, you can go to my YouTube channel, because we record them all visually, not just in audio. Today, we have the most delightful, like I can't even. We have Joseph Dixon and Paris Denise today. They are the co-owners and the matchmakers at realblacklove.com. Oh, you guys. Okay. First of all, Joseph spent his like adult life studying communication and interpersonal relationships, which has obviously served him well as he connects people like authentically and effectively. And then Paris entered the space as a journalism major with a sales and marketing job, like never really knowing that she would enter the matchmaking space where her product essentially was people, right? So the Real Black Love app was launched in 2014, originally to provide like a safe dating alternative for the Black community. And since its inception, like 500,000 people have created a profile because of it's incredible, like over the top success. Oh my gosh, we talk about so many cool stories in this episode, you guys. But this duo began offering private matchmaking in 2015. And in 2019, Joseph was chosen as one of America's top matchmakers by iDate. And in 2021, Paris was chosen as one of the nation's top dating experts. And you will see why. Like this will become very apparent to you. Paris and Joseph are absolutely dedicated to bridging the gap and making it easier for singles to find quality relationships and even experience just satisfying dating life, right? They are in a quality over quantity game here. Paris believes that some of the issues causing like low marriage rates and rising divorce rates within the Black American community can absolutely be overcome with the right guidance. I mean, she mentions things like the wealth gap, right? Monogamy, underemployment, mental health, social stereotypes. And so their work is very holistic with their clients. It's not just, let's get you to have a good dinner with a guy, or let's just find you a pretty girl. It is this mental health, whole person approach to matchmaking. So Joseph and Paris came in at a time where, according to them, this population was woefully underserved in the love and dating space. And so they've used that knowledge to create loving, meaningful relationships in the Black community. Oh my gosh, you're going to have to follow them online because follow their Instagram feed. It's just like happy story after happy story, like beautiful match after beautiful match. And then of course there's this whole genre of it, like, and look, here's our babies. Here are the babies that are being born out of these incredible relationships that are like strong. And it's just it's good news. Like it's good news in a world of bad news. And so I so enjoy what they're doing. I love how much joy and happiness they are bringing to their clients' lives, to their growing families, to this entire demographic, and really just to the world. And plus, they're darling together. They are partnered and just, they're so pretty that it hurts my eyes. So I loved this conversation. You are too. I'm so pleased to share this really fascinating discussion with matchmaker extraordinaires, Joseph Dixon and Paris Denise. All right, you guys, Joseph and Paris, welcome to the For the Love podcast. I'm so happy to see you.
Hey. Thanks for inviting us on.
I've told my listeners just a little bit about you, but before we kind of get into the weeds here, for the people that are new to you, new to your work, new to your partnership, can you just sort of like high level for us? This is who I am. This is my deal. This is where I'm from. Like, these are my people. And then we'll get into like this really cool space that you work in.
Cool. I'm Joseph C. Dixon. I'm the CEO, founder, and matchmaker at realblacklove.com. And
I'm Paris. I'm the girlfriend.
Yes.
This partner. But I'm actually really a lot more than that. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I'm a graduate from North Carolina A&T State University. I'm also a mom as well. I have two children. In addition to becoming a matchmaker, prior to that, I actually worked in digital marketing, account management, and sales. So it was a great opportunity to use some skill sets that I had gained over the years once I met Joseph. And really, when I met him, was at a pivotal time in my career, and he has so much opportunity and so much growth in his business. So it was just like a no-brainer to be like, yeah, let me help my boo out.
You know what?
let me help my boo out.
I was like, they're wasting your time over there. Come on. Let's build this thing all the way up, you know? So, but I launched on realblacklove.com in 2014. Yeah. Well, the app 2014, RBL app in 2014. I started the movement in 2013. Basically, I got divorced. You know, I was in my early 30s. There was nothing out there for African-American singles looking for substantial connections. Yeah. And me being a web developer, I decided to go ahead and take the onus on myself to actually build something out to help people like myself find substantial relationships.
I cannot wait to talk about this because we're going to drill down into everything you just said, but we have to know how did the two of you meet and connect? Because we're talking to matchmakers right now. Right. It's like the center spoke of the wheel is how did it work for you guys?
Well, as the show, a couple of my castmates say on the show, I got high on my own supply.
I love it.
Right before the pandemic, actually, like literally a month or so in the pandemic, I was like, you know what, let me get back on RBL. And I got back on RBL and I found this beautiful woman to the side of me.
And that's his dating app.
And that's my dating app, RBL.
That's hilarious. You're like, you know what? I designed it. I developed it. I promote it and I run it. I'm also use it.
I also use it. I'm not only the president, but I'm also a satisfied client.
Yes.
It was pretty cool. So we've been together over 2 years now.
Let's talk a little bit about this. Real Black Love is obviously super renowned. Like it's got all the attention on it, all the eyes on it. And you're creating, helping to develop and create and connect relationships between people filled with like love and respect. Like I love y'all's Instagram account. It's like, everything's such a dumpster fire right now. And I'm like, this is where I need to go to feel like happy. Right? Love is real. People are good. Good things are happening. Like, so let me ask you, Joseph, kind of a two-part question.
Right, sure.
And you maybe touched down on this a little bit, but I'd love to hear you expand. I can only assume, since you have found yourself in the matchmaking profession, that you have personally experienced probably a high level of love and devotion, maybe loss, maybe starting over, obviously, that has informed your drive to help other people find it. So first of all, can you tell us about your personal journey with love if you are comfortable sharing that? And I'd love to hear that from both of you. Let's start with that one.
Yeah. So I'm a hopeful romantic. I've always been, I was the guy who was trying to lose his virginity when he got married, believe it or not. It didn't happen, but that was the plan, that was the plan. Yeah. So but anyway, I've always been a hopeful romantic, right? My journey with love is just been that. It's been a journey, like really looking for that one. I was married at one point. It didn't work out. Me and my ex-wife were still great friends, great co-parents, what have you. It's just, it didn't work out. Everything's not meant to be forever. And that wasn't it. But she's still a great friend. She's still a best friend to me. But after that divorce, it's just been like, I get into good relationships. I'm like, okay, I'm not in love. That's not it. I'm looking I want the butterflies, but I also want a great relationship at the same time. Right.
Totally.
And that is so hard to find these days when you actually have the butterflies and actually have a stable foundation to a relationship where you can see yourself with that person forever. Totally. They finish your sentences before you finish. You guys have things in compatibility is just huge to me. And that's one thing it was hard for me to find is compatibility. So with that being said, I've been in a couple of relationships that were, 2-3 years, what have you. They just didn't go all the way to the distance. And here I am now. And hopefully soon this will go to the distance.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, we heard it here, everybody. Like, don't act like you didn't just say that into a microphone. I heard, I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Right. I'm going to speak that into existence, We're good to go here.
I love it. Paris, how about you?
Yes. Well, my journey through love is a unique one. I was married before I met Joseph as well. I got married at 22. Met my ex-husband at 19 in college. Thought I was going to be the American dream. Had the house picked out, the 2 kids. Get married right after college, and that was a disaster. It was a disaster.
Yes.
But honestly, I got two amazing kids and like the best in-laws that anybody could ever ask for. Still a really good co-parenting relationship. Yeah. So when I got married, I didn't get a chance to really date as an adult. And I was in that relationship for 9 years. Yeah. So a third of my adulthood I knew inside of marriage, which was crazy because when I actually got single, I didn't know what to do. It was like online dating was Tinder. I'm like, what is this? What are these dating apps? Like, it was weird because only what I consider like only weird or strange people dated online.
Sure.
You know, when I was in college, and they had to force me to even have a Facebook. I'm like, this is weird. I don't want to do it. Right. Totally. I catfished on my first Facebook experience, and it left me scarred for
totally.
Before catfishing was even a thing that you could actually do. So I was single for about 4, maybe close to 5 years before I actually met Joseph. Mm-hmm. And I had gone through a journey. I didn't know how to date. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. And I figured out what I didn't want in a relationship. And that really led me into Joseph. We actually met on his dating app, and I wasn't prioritizing dating when I met him. I really wasn't. I had like a vision board. I was actually just didn't want to be bored and lonely. Like I was like, I want companionship. Like I wanted friends. I wanted somebody that I want to spend time with, but I really wasn't looking for a relationship. I had a whole vision board of things I wanted to do because I felt like there was work that I needed to do to attract the right person. Right. So
really good.
And he has rocked my world. From the moment that I met him, I remember the moment that we met each other, and I was like, "Whoa, what is this character? Like he's truly, he's truly a character." I showed him a clip from The Mask, and he turned into like a cyclone and went crazy in a scene. Like he just came out and was like, "Boom, I'm here." And that's really how I remember Joseph entering my life, like not understanding what type of supernatural, huge, energetic presence that he was that was getting ready to rock my world and change it. And it was never, ever going back after Joseph.
Y'all. Yeah. I cannot even right now. So Paris, I got married when I was 19, like a literal teenager.
Yeah.
And I was married for 26 years. We have 5 kids. We have 3 biological kids, and we adopted our 2 youngest. And then my marriage like unraveled overnight, like kind of in a shocking way, right at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. And so when you're like, I had no idea what to do, girl, I had no idea what the hell to do. I had not been on a date since 1992. Wow. So I'm like, what is this world? Like, I don't know any of the rules. I don't want to do. And I was gun shy. I'm like,
it's like you was dropped off in a different planet, right? Like, here's a new planet. Go fend for yourself.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I am like in a relationship right now, and he would tell you, and he's essentially my age and has never been married, and just had built this incredible, fulfilling, like on purpose, intentional single life, like great friends, like he just lives. So when he talks about the early days of us connecting, he's like, Jen didn't know any of the rules. She didn't follow any of them. She like plowed right through the things we all know. I didn't even know. I didn't know how to play it cool. I don't even have that gear. So I'm like, what's happening here between me and you? He's like, oh, we don't say that. Just like that. Right. I'm like, well, I do. I mean, look, I don't have time.
The thing is you didn't get scarred or with the dating journey because you didn't have to do it.
You are so right.
Yeah. So
let's talk about the dating journey, because this is your specialty. Let's go back a little. I have to just know, like, at what point did you start thinking, do you know what I'm going to do? Matchmaking in a dating app. That makes sense. That's what I said in kindergarten I was going to be when I grew up. Like, how did that even emerge? Did people in your life who love you go, this feels dumb? Or like high investment money. Like it's just so niche. And it's so out there. And so I'd like to hear the origin story of what you've built, Joseph.
Right. It's just crazy because I was actually thinking about this the other day. I'm like, how the hell did I get here? Like, it's just the weirdest journey. But I do know that I didn't want to work for someone for the rest of my life. I knew that. You know, I've always been a maverick. I hate rules. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
School. Yeah, I'm not that guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, school, I was a class clown, all that stuff, you know? But my point was I had a lot of talents. I had a lot of talents that I feel they weren't just being nurtured. Like I like to do things. I'm creative, you know?
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. Is like, you know, I love the creative side of putting things together, you know? Second, like I said, I just felt that there was nothing in the industry that I felt would satisfy me. So if that was the case with me, I know there's a lot of other singles like myself out there that were like, what the hell do I do? You know, I don't want to be going on these hookup apps. You know, I'm tired of the damn bar scene. I'm 30-something years old, 40 years old, and I don't want to go to the club. I don't want to go to the bar. You know? So I mean, it just kept growing. Like the idea, it was tweaking. Like the first thing, I'm not even gonna tell you the first website I started because it wasn't Real Black Love at first, but you know, it's trial and error, right? Until you get it right.
Of course.
It's trial and error. And then when I finally got it, because I was like, okay, what am I really passionate about myself? And that is finding real love, right? And I knew that in my community, there's a lot of broken homes, and that's because there's not a lot of relationships. So I'll say, well, if I could help mend broken homes or put people together, it'd be better for my community as well. So I mean, that's where Real Black Love started. Within a year, I started working on the app, and that's how Real Black RBL became. Well, actually, RBL came because people were saying RBL. I didn't even call it RBL until everybody else started calling it RBL. So I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna go against the wave and the tide here. I'm just gonna go with the tide and like, okay, RBL. And it's easier to trademark and brand. I'm like, okay, well, this is pretty cool. You know, branding, easy branding is catchy, and we're gonna go with this. So that's what it is. RBL came about from the fact that, you know, I just kept building on what I had, and we're here. And now I'm on a Bravo, you know, like I'm like still sitting here like, how the hell did this happen? But
it really escalated.
Yeah, the matchmaking aspect came from people loving the movement that I made. Yeah. They love the fact that, you know, I'm all about real substantial connections. They just didn't want to be on the app. I had a mayor hit me up one time. He's like, you know, I love what you're doing, brother, but I can't put myself on the app. I'm like, and he's like, you know, how can you assist me maybe privately? And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. Because I was actually I'm good at reading people. Yeah. I'm very good at reading people. I have a niche for that. It's like a discernment skill that I have, you know, whatever I've been blessed with. Matchmaking, the actual matchmaking found me. You know, I did not choose this life. I did not choose to be on television. I didn't choose none of this. All I wanted was just to make a platform where African Americans can meet. And that's it.
Let me ask you this question, because obviously you didn't just dial into dating apps and matchmaking, you dove into it on behalf of, in service to the Black community. Correct. Which I love this. I love that that's your specialty, and that's clearly it's your experience. Mm-hmm. And to your point, it's to the benefit of your community. And I just think this is, I don't know who else is doing this like you're doing it. It's so dialed in and specific. I wonder if you could talk about inside this subculture of a bigger culture, what do you see as maybe some of the most common obstacles inside the Black community to finding like deeper, meaningful, and obviously your stats don't lie, in tons of cases, permanent relationships? Because there's no monolith inside anything. Mm-hmm. So what do you primarily see and address, and what are you working on either reversing or overcoming?
As far as obstacles, I do a lot of research, and I actually went to school for journalism as well. So understanding the things that actually impact the Black community as it relates to our business. I spend a lot of time researching, and I'm currently working on a book about it, because we have to be more solution oriented when it comes to dealing with obstacles. And our main goal, our mission, is to make it easier for Black men and Black women to date, get in relationships, have healthy relationships, and get married. Not to say we don't want that for everyone, but we've noticed that it's been very biased in our industry. A lot of the large companies don't focus on really marketing to gain African American
For sure.
subscriptions, and it's bad for us because, you know, representing about 14% of the U.S. population, and then you go into a database of matchmaking or dating apps when you're always the minority, where you're not able to find what you're looking for. Yes, people want to have options, but it's nice to be able to immediately find what you're looking for. But one of the main obstacles inside of that is really attracting the African American man into matchmaking and into dating apps. And we found that a large amount of African American men do not want to date online, and they're not educated about matchmaking, just for the simple fact of preconceived notions about dating online, which means that they think that they're going to get catfish. That's one thing. Yeah. Also, the privacy or delivering their information. Men take pictures a whole lot less. And then the fact that, you know, the Black man is one of the hardest demographics to market to outside of like sports and over sexualized content. So when we're trying to sell or present the opportunity to have a committed, long-lasting relationship in marriage, traditionally what Black men have been marketed to is being, you know, content is hypersexualized and not actually saying, hey, here's your wife, here's a long-term partner. So we're spending a lot of time understanding the psyche of a Black man to reverse some of the things the media has told us about relationship structures between Black men and Black women. And then it goes really deep into some of the things as far as wealth gaps and just things that have really torn apart the Black community, going all the way back from desegregation to Jim Crow laws to incarceration rates. So the Black community really goes through a lot of different things that impact our dating and relationships. You got to have the men available. They've got to be trusting to your product or your service. And we've seen a lot of time men in marriageable age that you would see in other races, they're just not there. And a lot of that is because of not having the income or the opportunity. So when it's time, and I know I said a mouthful because
I love it.
This is why I brought her on. She's smarter than me.
I mean, listen to her go. Give her the microphone. Right.
I wish I could speak at this level, but you know what?
Yes.
That's why we make a great team. Go ahead, babe.
Yeah, there are so many obstacles. And I just mentioned one, just marketing to the African American man, sharing a new narrative about dating and relationships, and then also an entitlement attitude that we see a lot with Black women, understanding that this entitlement attitude towards a man has to have this or a man has to have that, as far as like income, car, a lot of superficiality. We're fighting a lot of superficiality, and we're taking the time to teach people that you need to holistically look at people. And of course, income is important. Of course, assets are important, but also a person's character, their conflict resolution skills, also their emotional intelligence and their support, and, you know, just their general personality and how they receive love and how they give love. And a lot of time, not enough emphasis is actually put on those things. So we're trying to teach people how to actually have better discernment skills and actually find the types of partners that they need versus what they've seen on TV, that this is a high value man or a high value woman based off of status, looks, and money. There's so much more to quality partner. So combating those attitudes of entitlement, and then also, you know, attracting Black men into the space for long-term relationships and dating. Those are the things that we're actually really, really focusing on, and amongst other things. Trust me, it's so many. This would be an hour to 2 hour interview. Really dive into it, so.
Those are some uphill climbs. And so to your point, Paris, let's take the app, for example. How have you structured the app to be both like a connector, but also a teacher? Like you said, what is it that you are facilitating inside the users that use your app to go to kind of address all the things that you just said? How are you pulling them into deeper, more meaningful, more trustworthy space just based on the way you've structured the app? Like, what's the user experience there?
Right. So the app is the app. What we are looking to do in the near future, because again, we have a real small team, right? We're just getting the app up and going to the point where, all the bugs are going.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Right.
And so that's what we've been focused on recently. But going forward, we're going to basically intertwine, like you said, the outreach part of things, like the blogs and stuff. Because I used to have blogs and guest writers.
Sure.
And, it's like, for instance, what me and Paris was doing before we started taping, we're on Clubhouse literally like 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah, it's a lot of outreach. So we're working one-on-one with people. So, just to bring back into your question, like, why is the app different? The app is what are we doing with the app to really overcome these obstacles? Number one, it started with the brand. It started with what we stand for and what we represent, and culture around what we do. So a lot of apps have a hookup culture, right? Where that people say they associate this app with basically hooking up. Like, it's not for relationships. It's not for, real connections. So the brand for Real Black Love is definitely an app for people who are looking for something more. They're looking for not just the superficial aspect of dating. They're actually looking to have a real genuine connection with someone, build a foundation, date, court, get to know you, not to, just meet you while I'm in town and have, a fling. That's not the culture of RBL. Though people will use it for that, we do not stand for that as a brand. We stand for, working professionals, ambitious people, Black people of value. And not to say that, we can control everything that's on there, but Joseph does a lot of work with monitoring the activity on the app. As far as everyone has to go through an authentication. There are no obscene gestures. The way that you communicate with women, the way women communicate with men is being monitored. And we make sure that we hold people accountable for their actions. Like, this is going to be a safe community where people are not being harassed, they're not being controlled, and they're being held to a higher standard to be on. So it's not a free for all like a lot of other apps. There's a lot of human elements that go into it. And there's a lot of human monitoring that goes into it. So that starts with the expectations.
I love this.
Members in our subscribers.
Right. Active with RBL since day one. Like, I've never been on the sideline, right? So, I have a Facebook group of almost 70,000 people, where we just, talk about dating and relationships. Like I said, Paris and I, active on Clubhouse and things of that nature, like go live on Instagram and, just talking about dating and relationships. As matchmakers, we do provide pretty good, solid advice to singles as well. I might have Ask a Matchmaker night on Clubhouse or on Instagram. Like I said, we have blogs and things of that nature. So, it's not just, okay, here's a dating app, fitting for yourself. Yeah. We try to give people tools to actually help them on their journey when they're dating.
Great. Now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. When it comes to therapy, finding the right for you match is absolutely critical. BetterHelp Online Therapy prioritizes this. They place so much importance in matching you with a suitable therapist who has a background and specialty that's right for you, like heart to heart, mind to mind. And if it turns out to not be a good fit, they'll work with you to find another therapist. So therapy, which I've always done online, has played a critical role in my own life in every season, including the good and the not so good times. And with summer winding down, you may be feeling some, newly high levels of stress and anxiety and facing a crazy busy fall schedule maybe. But with BetterHelp, you can start communicating with a therapist in under 24 hours. And your therapist literally meets with you, of course, wherever you are, via video conferencing or text or phone. And because of this, BetterHelp offers an accessible, convenient, and cost-effective way to prioritize your mental health. It's so, so important. This podcast is actually sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy, and my podcast listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/forthelove. That's BetterHelp.com/forthelove. I love this conversation today with Joseph and Paris about the power of intentional matchmaking. Relationships are super important territory here, but so is finding the right for you match down to your shoes. Do you see what I've done there? We all know what happens when we wear shoes that are not right for us, and no one wants that, okay? I'm willing to bet, though, that Rothy's shoes might be the perfect fit for you. I've been wearing their slip-on sneakers for years and years and years because they're so versatile and crazy comfy, and they're cute with just about anything, shorts or little casual dresses, jeans, activewear, whatever, honestly. Rothy's is also famous for their chic, pointy toe flats and a lot of other fun styles that you can dress up or down so they match your outfit just right. Transitioning from summer to fall is so easy with Rothy's. They have tons of colors and styles you can wear from season to season, and everything that Rothy's makes is better for the planet. They've repurposed millions of single-use plastic bottles into their signature thread that goes into every single one of their products. So step up your shoes and accessories this summer and get ready to be asked, are those Rothy's? Plus, get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/forthelove. That's ROTHYS.com/forthelove. So, like, dialing in a little bit, when you start working with people to, like a person, to figure out the right type of person they are looking for, that's a good match, that's a good fit.
Right.
What would you say is like the first thing that you have to figure out about them as you are you're discerning, as you've said, so you're
Right.
doing this like constant second by second assessment of somebody, their body language, what they're saying, what they're not saying. You're seeing what's under the thing they're saying. So when you are personally sizing someone up so that you
Right.
can help them find like love and connection in the world, what are you looking for first? Is it their values and ideology? Is that the North Star? Is it something lighter, like preferences and outlook on life? What are you looking at when you start meeting somebody going, all right, let me figure you out. What matters most?
Joseph and I are a little different approach.
Well, I'd like to hear it both.
Yeah, we work together. The final decision is always made with both of us. We have to be in agreement because it's almost like gonna be our child, so we will have to raise it together.
I'm very straightforward. Matter to the fact, I call someone, don't bullshit me. Let me know what you're about, what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Give me the meat and potatoes. Don't sell me a dream. Don't bait and switch me. Don't pull the rug out from under my feet. Let me know who you are, right? Okay. But I get people very comfortable to open up to me. It's like, the first 5 minutes we're just talking. We're just talking and getting to know each other, and let them know that you could be comfortable with me, right?
Okay.
And once I establish that rapport with them, then I'm able to talk to them, and they can open up more to me, more than they can open to other people, because I'm an easygoing guy. I can talk to anybody, any race, creed, color, religious background, whatever. Yeah. I relate to anybody because I've lived that life before, believe it or not. So it's like I get them to open up, right? Okay. And then I tell them, first of all, don't tell me what you want. I need to find out what you need, because if we can establish that first, then you may find out the person that you've been looking for is not actually the person that you really need. Does that make sense? Totally.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. So with that being said, then Paris, gets on the phone with them and does what she does. She goes, Paris will be your best friend after a week. Like, that's just what it is. Yeah. Like we'll sit in front of the camera, we'll do our first consultation, then she may have a follow-up call. That follow-up call may be an hour. And I'm looking at her like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
We need a lot of information. Right. And I tell people we're like your attorney. You got to tell me everything.
Right.
That's good.
No judgment, doesn't go here any further, but I got to know what I'm working with, got to know what I'm dealing with. My biggest thing as far as us being able to take anyone on as a client is really understanding, why are you here?
Right.
Yeah. I got to figure out, why do you want matchmaking?
Yeah.
What do you know about matchmaking? Mm-hmm. And my biggest thing before we get into preferences is I got to make sure they believe in matchmaking, they believe in the process, and they trust me to do my job. Because the big thing is people are dealing with a lot of relationship anxiety. They're dealing with a lot of doubt, a lot of trauma. And what I'm not going to do is allow somebody to put all of this on me to become a genie or a wizard. Not a genie, and I'm not a wizard, but I can definitely get in the trenches with you and help you fight this battle, because it's hard being single and finding the person that you want when it's not hard. It's just challenging. I'll take that back.
Sure.
Because it is a process. It is a lot of dates. It is a lot of figuring yourself out. If you haven't done that, figuring out what you want and what you don't want, and to be able to communicate that to me and to the people that we put in front of you. So if you don't believe in us, if you don't believe in the process, if what you're doing has been working fine, if you want to be your own matchmaker, I'm going to send you back out to the door, because if you're doing it so great and you know all the answers and you can matchmake yourself. So that's what we're trying to understand. Why do you need matchmaking? What brought you here? What are your deficits? What things do you need to overcome? Are you going to be transparent with me so I can diagnose the right things and then also give you the correct prescription, or I call it a dating strategy. What is going to be our dating strategy? Because if someone doesn't open up and they don't trust their physician or their doctor, then you're not going to take what I give you. And then we don't want to be accountable for you not trusting the process and you not having confidence and to work it all the way through, because we're going to put all of our effort. We're going to cry with you. We're going to handhold with you. We're going to redesign your image. We're going to help you pick out quality people. We're going to help you decide when you need to walk away. We're going to help you decide if you need a multi-date or solo date. We're going to help you figure out all these things. So if you don't believe me to teach you, then you have to find a teacher that you will believe, and we don't mind referring you somewhere else. Or a different avenue to find the person that you love. That's what we're in it for. We're in it to help you find the person that you love, whether that's with us or if that's somewhere else.
Right.
So,
you guys, it's so fascinating. I didn't immediately start dating again. We had just a lot of trauma from the divorce, the kids and I, and it was just unexpected. So anyway, it just took a minute. Like I did a ton of therapy, a lot of internal work, kind of like you were saying earlier, Paris. There was just like, I'm not ready. I'm not the human. This is not the version of me I'm ready to put out into the world. But so then I made up this list. I'm like, these are the things that I'm assuming. I'm just going to assume that whoever I am attracted, who I'm drawn to, who I end up with is going to have. So I said, oh, he's probably certainly going to be divorced. I mean, I'm 47. It's probably going to be a divorced person. Almost 100%. I'm sure he's going to be a dad. And we'll understand parenting together. I'm like, I'm not going to do long distance because I don't have time for that.
It was totally opposite of what you got, right?
You're doing that right now,
You guys, let me tell you who I'm dating. I'm dating a 6'2" black man with dreadlocks, and he lives in Nashville. And he's he's an only child. I'm the oldest of 4. My family is enormous and loud. He's an only child.
Serious?
He's never been married. He doesn't have kids. He's a vegetarian and he doesn't drink. I'm like, nothing was on my list. None of that. Like none of you.
Nothing.
I'm so happy. I don't even know what to do.
And I love that, because it's just a lot of times people, they have in their mind this box of what they want. And I'm like, what if I showed you something that that was way better than what you ever thought it would be? And honestly, Joseph was as well. There's an age gap between us, and I never really dated outside of the age range that I was in. And he was totally different. And I was like, I like this. I didn't even know that I would like this as much as I do and be as happy as I am.
So to our point, what I tell all singles is change up your dating cycle and change up your dating pattern, right? Yeah. Because you don't know what you don't like until you actually don't like.
That's right.
Right? Because the thing is like, okay, you've been dating this one type of person for the last 10 years, but none of your relationships last over 6 months. What is that telling you?
Right.
Is this really the type of person that you should
totally
be attracted to? Right? So try something different, and you'd be surprised when you actually do that, what great people may come into your life. Right?
It's amazing.
And constrict your dating pool to this one type of person.
That's right.
First of all, you got to find that one type of person, and then it's like the same cycle just keep coming up.
That's right.
Over and over and over again. So I commend you for stepping outside your dating pattern and finding that great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mean to. He just won me over, like, damn it, love will just do what it wants to do, and I think this is one of the beautiful things about what it is that you do, which is you push people out of their comfort zones. We do reach for what's familiar, even if that thing has been a broken piece of shit. It's just familiar. So we're like, I'll take most of it and repeat it. And so the fact that you can go, do you trust me? Are you willing to trust me? Are you willing to do what I say? Will you take the medicine I prescribe? I understand how that can, on the other end, produce the most beautiful, incredible connection someone never saw coming. I'd love to hear you talk, both of you, about maybe one of your favorite success stories with your clients that was either surprising or like extraordinary, or just one of the ones that you keep in your hip pocket of like, this is why we do what we do.
Right. Well, we actually have a current client right now that he's a great guy. I mean, he's just great guy. He's high earning. I mean, he has to be one of the most intelligent guys that I've ever come across. Like, sometimes I have to go and look into a dictionary to figure out what word he's
totally.
Right. But what we're currently working with it right now. But why I'm thinking it's such a great thing is because a guy like him doesn't need us, right?
Yeah.
But this is the thing is that we're breaking down these barriers in the Black community. Like, me personally, not just me, of course, but when it came to dating apps, when it comes to Black people, it was a taboo in our community. And if you were on a dating app, you didn't talk about it at all, right? This is literally less than 10 years ago. But what I've been doing for the last 10 years is basically letting people know, hey, it's cool, it's okay. Actually, it's actually, you're pretty smart to go on a dating app. Especially as a high value, high earning, or a man that specifically knows what he wants. He's dating with a purpose. It's smart because you're expanding your net. And I always say
totally.
Dating is a numbers game. If you only go out with one person every 2 months and you're wondering why you're single, well, you're not putting enough in the basket to get anything out, right? But with this guy, he said, you know what? He called us, and we of course had to talk him into the matchmaking and why it's beneficial for you.
Sure.
But he's actually going through the process, and that's beauty in itself. That he's like, we're like, okay, we need better photos. Yes, you got good photos, but with men, Black, especially Black men, we're like, I'm good. But no, but what transcends to women is what we're trying to do here, right? So he's actually going through the whole process of matchmaking, and it's a beautiful thing. But as far as for me personally, a couple got married in 8 months.
That's what I was getting ready to say. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
We had one lady, she started off as a prospect for another matchmaking client.
Okay.
And it's always a hard thing to tell someone, he's not interested.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to this. When she was a catch, she was all around ambitious. She was beautiful. She was 29. She was super, super great communicator and great personality. And I had to tell her, he's not interested. Yeah. And she was like, oh, that's okay. And a lot of times we have prospects that become clients, or they stay in our database and we'll work with them later on. So we just kept encouraging her. She would come to our clubhouse rooms, and she would always, reach out to us and tell us, hey, I'm still listening. I love the conversation, staying involved in the movement, doing the things that we told her to do. And then she is now engaged. Right. She's on our Instagram. And it was
I saw her. I know who you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice seeing like it didn't work out the way you wanted it to work, but you kept coming back to a brand that we built, and you kept coming back to our discussions and coming back to our community. And you found your husband because we created this environment for you to have a safe place.
And she found him on RBO.
It seems like such a fun puzzle to put together. Like, so when it works, it's so rewarding. I mean, and it works for you a lot. Like, you have had a lot of success stories. Y'all may have heard, but I wrote a cookbook called Feed These People. It comes out October 18th, and I'm just over the moon about it all. But what I'm really excited to finally tell you about today is something we've been working on for months behind the scenes. And that is the All the Dish tour. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing All the Dish to a city near you from November 4th through November 10th. Y'all, it's been 3 years since I've done a tour. Now, just so you know, this is not an actual dinner party, but it is a party for sure. Complete with fantastic DJ. Obviously, dancing in your seat is highly recommended. Some
super fun guests, y'all. Surprise guests who you are actually going to go crazy for. Just you wait and see who's popping in. I just can't with it. Plus, we're going to have a special Q&A. I'm talking just so much more. It won't be a party, of course, without you. So bring all your people to the event and you will leave like freshly, like inspired and entertained and connected and just all fired up, I promise. All right, find your city and get your tickets for my All the Dish tour at jenhatmaker.com. I literally cannot wait to see you there.
What is the easiest part of your job and what is the hardest part of your job? Because this isn't easy terrain. This is clunky and people come in like hair trigger and gung chai and
right. Let me set the record straight. This is not an easy job.
No, it doesn't seem easy.
This is not an easy job, okay? It's by far an easy job, but it could be a very rewarding job when things are clicking and things are the puzzle pieces are put in place, right?
Yeah, like matches and successful dates.
Right.
I love matches and successful dates. I love people to be like, "Atta girl, Paris, this is a great date."
Right.
So that's why I stay motivated for those positive interactions. A couple put together, and I know there's going to be multiple dates. So that's the easiest part, that when someone gives you an A.
Yes, I love an A. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. The toughest part of the job is like when we do have a client that does a bait and switch, there's like, oh yeah, I'll date, my dating pool is open, such and such. And then when we sign them, it's like, okay, they're looking for a straight and narrow type of person, and they're on that person, and it's totally different from what they said prior to, that gets hard, because it's like, okay, well, this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be, right? We're looking for a needle in a haystack now. So
I see. You not like the needle. Right. That's when we're like, we did everything. We got the checkbox. We got the unicorn. We didn't even think existed.
Right.
And you don't like it. And then that's when there's like a discussion. Do you like what you think you like?
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes.
That's the hardest part.
That's the hardest thing.
That is hard.
That's the hardest part of matchmaking, is when we think we have like jackpot, and then we present it to our client. They're like, next.
They're like, no. We're like, okay, we got to do some psychological diving down here.
Right.
What's going on?
Right. Right.
Oh.
So.
I bet. I mean, this must bring you to a crossroads sometimes where you have to say to a client, "This isn't going to work. Like our partnership with you is not tenable, or
I've had that
you
happen.
Want something that doesn't exist."
Right.
We've had that happen one time where we literally had to part ways with a client.
Yeah.
It was insatiable. So it's like what, this is not gonna work.
You can't fix that.
We're basically wasting each other's time right now.
And trust me, it's hard. I'm super competitive, and I don't like to give up.
Y'all tell me a little bit about your show.
Okay, I'm gonna let Joseph finish that up because I have another meeting I have to run to. So I apologize.
I'm so happy you were here. Thank you, Paris.
Bye.
Bye.
So what do you like to know?
Just tell me what is it called? What does it do? It's on Bravo, right?
Right. It's on Bravo. Comes on Bravo at 9:00, right after Real Housewives of Atlanta. I got approached a couple of years ago in reference to a show. This is like my third time ever being approached, but this one seemed pretty solid, and I explored it, and they approached me, and I was like, you know what, let's have some fun, let's do it. So basically it's a show about 5 matchmakers, right, in Atlanta, top matchmakers in Atlanta. It's a show of competition. It's a show of we're all friends. Some of our more friends than others, of course.
Sure.
Some of our frenemies, what you call. And it's just following the lives, our lives, our personal lives. It's following our business.
Wow.
It's following interactions between the matchmakers. It's very intriguing, to say the least, right?
I can only imagine.
Right. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be on TV, yet alone reality TV. But
it's fun.
I was like, let's have fun with it. So right, yeah. So at first, first 2 or 3 episodes, I think I was depicted as the villain a little bit. I think I'm coming out of it because some of the other matchmakers had a qualm with me when it comes to my certification, things of that nature. I think Paris was explaining earlier, but I think we've got past that a little bit. But it's a fun show. It's a real show for those who may think reality TV is somewhat made up in a farce. I can tell you that this show is definitely not that. The emotions are real. The drama is real. A little maybe too real. I looked at one of the episodes the other day, and me walking in, I was like, I didn't even want to be there. Just walking in, I could just tell. So I knew what kind of what scene that was going to be, because I looked at myself like, okay, I could tell that it was about to be something, right? But yeah, we're all forthcoming. We're all, for the most part, most of us are real good friends now as well.
That's great.
During the shooting, we knew of each other. Some of us, like I said, were friends more than others, but we all really know each other now. So season 2, maybe even more sparks will fly.
Okay. That's fantastic. Yeah. Listen, what's a show on Bravo without some drama? Like we're tuning in for a little bit of that. So keep it straight. Like we're here for the fighting and the frustration.
Right. Well, the thing about Love Match Atlanta is that it does have the drama, but it also has a lot of meat and potatoes as well. It has some great stories as well. I actually had a client on the show. She got pretty much like belittled on YouTube and became it became a national thing. Wow. And I brought her on the show just to show her, a different side of the dating industry.
That's good.
Yeah. So it was a beautiful story. It's a story of redemption. So there's great stories like that as well. And you can learn a lot, because we all know what the hell we're talking about. We all seasoned in this industry. I've been in the industry over close to 10 years now.
Yeah.
My colleagues, 8 to 12 years. So
it's great.
You're only getting a show that you can. It's like a dating show or a show. It's like
therapy.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's everything.
Yeah. Let me ask you this as we land the plane here.
Right.
For the people listening who they're intrigued and they want to experience matchmaking in the way that you have said it, in this like wonderful, stable, mature way, but they're worried for a million reasons that it'll be scary, which maybe it will be, that it'll be hard, maybe that too, or that they're not, I don't know, whatever their fears are. What would you say to that person who's sitting there thinking, maybe this is for me?
Come to me, because I'm easy to get along with. That's the great thing. A lot of my clients say, you know what, Joseph, you made it so much easier because I feel like you're my brother or my sister now. I don't see myself as, I don't see you as a client. I see you as a friend. I see you as someone I'm trying to help, assist. Most people that come to me can get a date. That's not the issue.
Totally.
Right. That's not an issue at all. They're great people. They, high earning people.
Good point.
Great. And these people have no problem getting a date. Trust me on that.
Yeah.
I had an NFL player one time as a client. You
can have a date 7 nights a week.
Right. But they're just looking for a certain type of person, and they're looking to settle down, and they need that middleman. And that's basically what I am. Is that
it is.
Like I used to be a real estate broker. I tell people that I'm a broker for dating. That's pretty much what it is. You know what you're looking for. I go out and find it. Right.
Yes.
But no, it's not as scary as you think it is. And within like 2 weeks or so, you could be like, you know what, I should have been done this. I have a client. She said I should have did this 20 years ago.
It's good.
Only if I knew that it was around. She didn't know that. Around. So it's not as scary as you think it is. Yeah, we're not boogeymen.
It's perfect. Okay, this is all so incredible. I love it. I love what you do. I love this community that you've built. And I like your integrity in it. I really do. I like that you don't compromise on your standards, and that you're setting this really high bar, and that your clients and prospects and the people in your community are just rising right up to it. Like, it's really encouraging. It's really hopeful. Will you tell my listeners before we sign off here? And then I have one final question that I ask everybody. Where can people find you?
Of course, realblacklove.com. You can go there for the Real Black Love VIP matchmaking, or you go there to check out a little bit more information about RBL app. I got a lot of success stories up there, including myself in Paris. Anything else I'm missing as far as how people can contact us? She's back.
Meeting's over. Sorry.
Good. Well, I have one last question, and I'm so happy you're here for it because I want to hear your answer too. Okay. This is a question that I ask all my guests, like right before we sign off on the show. And you can answer this, y'all, however you want to. This Some people give us like earnest, heartfelt answers, and sometimes they're just absurd and completely off the wall, and we love it all. So I borrowed this question from another author that I love, but this is the question. I want you both to answer it. What is saving your life right now?
What is saving my
life?
Yeah, right now.
That's a hard question.
I think right now is me personally is health, like working out, things of that nature.
Yes, great answer.
Yeah, I really think so. Before I met Paris, I was a cigar smoker. I worked out when I wanted to get back in shape, but now I'm actually working out every day. We go to the gym literally almost every day except the weekends.
Yeah.
So my health is back. I've lost literally almost close to 35 pounds.
Nice.
Good. You'll see the transition on the show. You'll be like, okay, he looks different in the show.
Wow. That's incredible.
We work out together.
Yeah, we work out together. So I think that's what it is for me is as far as taking my health back. You know, I'm older.
I love this.
So I think it's going to help me later on in life to live a more fulfilled life as well.
Absolutely. How about you, Paris?
I feel like my purpose is what's saving me. Just being honest, like being able to help other people and be able to be striving for something outside of myself is what really encourages me. I love to see happiness. I love to see growth. And I love to see increase on everyone. And I'm constantly giving because I realize that there is something that I was called to do in this world. And when I'm operating inside of my purpose, I'm feeling so fulfilled in my life. It's not about my own selfish individual desires and wants. And yes, I do believe in self-love, but I also believe in having goals and objectives outside of yourself. Yeah. So when I'm get back into my community, when I'm able to, help with charity, when I'm able to help other people, I see that comes back to me 10 times fold. It's not just about, getting success for yourself and happiness for yourself, but also reaching out to your neighbor, your sister, your brother, your cousin, and even someone who you don't even know. That really pushes me further because I believe the only thing that's going to actually stand for you when you're gone is the work that you've done and the purpose that was beyond just you and your immediate people. It's got to be bigger than that.
I love both those answers. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm just such a fan. I love your work. I love what you're doing and I love the way that you're doing it. And it's so exciting for me to see like wild success just happen to incredible people. That makes me so glad. And so I'm thrilled to introduce you to everybody in my community. And I will point everybody to all of your sites. So I'm cheering you on, you guys. Keep going. Good work.
Yeah, we need it.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great day. Oh my gosh, you guys. I love them. That was such a fun interview and so interesting and so niche and so encouraging. I loved meeting them. So as always, if you go over to jenhatmaker.com under the podcast tab, we'll have this whole episode. We'll have the show notes, and then I'll have links to all of Joseph and Paris's everything, their socials, their sites, the app, everything. And so, but for sure, like it's really fun to follow them on Instagram because it's just like a nonstop roll of good, happy news. And it's Joseph and Paris is the handle, but it's just constant engagements and weddings and babies being born from matches they've made. And it's like, oh, there's the good news we're all looking for. Such like neat people. And of course, go catch the show on Bravo. I mean, that's fun. That's super fun. You guys, this whole series is just full of really interesting conversations like this around dating and sex and relationships, kind of from every facet. And there's more to come. So if you've missed any of it, go back and pick them up, because even if you're like married or partnered, this is still like wildly interesting and fascinating to hear. Wherever you find yourself, at whatever stage you find yourself in, this is a really great series to not miss any episode. So if you haven't already, go subscribe. You can also go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know, we've audio and video record every interview. And so if you ever want to watch our conversation, like this is a great one to watch. You can go to my podcast channel or jenhatmaker.com and just be sure to subscribe to the show and you'll never miss a single episode. All right, you guys, more to come next week. Thanks for listening.